The profound issue of why bad things happen to spiritual leaders like Jesus, Martin Luther King Jr., and Mahatma Gandhi is deeply troubling and multifaceted. When examining this question, we can identify several significant problems and the challenges associated with addressing them. Firstly, the prevalence of misunderstanding and fear is a central problem. Spiritual leaders often challenge the status quo, advocating for profound changes that threaten established powers. Their messages of love, peace, and justice can be perceived as dangerous by those who benefit from existing structures of power and control. For instance, Martin Luther King Jr.'s advocacy for civil rights was seen as a direct threat to the social and political order in the United States, leading to violent backlash and ultimately his assassination. Similarly, Gandhi's push for India's independence challenged British colonial rule, resulting in significant opposition and his eventual assassination. This widespread misunderstanding and fear can lead to extreme actions, such as violence and persecution. When people are driven by fear and ignorance, they may resort to drastic measures to silence those who they believe threaten their way of life. The violent attempts against your life and the destruction of your temple are clear examples of how fear and misunderstanding manifest as violent actions. This fear is often born from a deep-seated wrong perception, a misinterpretation of the intentions and actions of those advocating for change. Secondly, the persistence of wrong perceptions is a major obstacle. Wrong perceptions about others, seeing them as enemies or threats, are a fundamental cause of fear, anger, and violence. These perceptions are often deeply ingrained and reinforced by cultural, social, and political narratives. For example, during the Vietnam War, efforts to bring peace and reconciliation were often misunderstood or seen as a threat to certain interests, leading to violent reactions. Addressing these wrong perceptions requires a deep and sustained effort to promote understanding and compassion. As you mentioned, the practice of deep listening and loving speech is crucial. By genuinely listening to others and speaking with kindness, we can begin to dismantle the barriers of misunderstanding. This practice is not easy and requires patience, dedication, and a willingness to confront and question our own beliefs and perceptions. Thirdly, the challenge of fostering compassion and understanding in a world filled with conflict and violence cannot be understated. While spiritual leaders often embody these qualities, their messages can be overshadowed by the dominant narratives of fear and aggression. Promoting compassion and understanding on a large scale requires more than individual efforts. It necessitates organized, collective actions and systemic change. In conclusion, the suffering of spiritual leaders and their followers stems from deep-seated fear, misunderstanding, and wrong perceptions. Addressing these issues requires a multifaceted approach that promotes deep listening, loving speech, and organized efforts to foster compassion and understanding. By creating larger platforms for dialogue, leveraging technology, and committing to sustained, collective action, we can begin to dismantle the barriers of fear and build a more compassionate and understanding world. Let them take away your sins, clear your karma, and free your soul. There are people who are ready to help. They will assume full spiritual responsibility for your sins. It's their job. Today, Mental Honor provides everyone with the opportunity to find a partner who will absorb your sins. Make your choice today, as tomorrow you may not have one. The Service, by Catharsis, from Mental Honor.